then I started talking with a fellow pastor who was in our association of churches. Guy's name is Matt Foreman, and he's actually the co-writer of the book with me. We probably each wrote about half of the book, I think, the way that we ended up parsing it out. But I had started talking to him about the whole divine council thing, a little bit about the Nephilim, not a lot, and then a lot about the angel of the Lord, and all this kind of stuff that meant. And at first, there was a little bit of resistance, not a lot, but he really, really latched onto this. And so, I mean, this was maybe 10 years ago already that I started having those conversations with him. And then, after the course of 2 or 3 years, I think Heath proposed the idea of why don't we write a book on the angel? Because there isn't one. You go looking for books on the angel of the Lord, and it's sparse. There's not a lot of stuff out there, which is really crazy because if he's Gerhardus Voss basically says that he's the most important figure in the Old Testament. And if that's right, it's sort of like, why is nobody writing about this? Why is nobody talking about this? So you'll find books that have chapters in them on it, but not whole books that are dedicated to him. And because it's Christ in the Old Testament, and this whole idea of very, very important to me, Nicola, that Christians learn to read the scripture as a whole instead of half and half, or, I guess that would be more like 4/5 and a fifth because the New Testament's so much smaller. But we have this real problem in the church of segmenting the New Testament out from the Old. If people even know the New Testament, it's rare that they know a lot of their Old Testament. And there's a lot of theological reasons for that. But one of the things that I really wanted to do in this book, and Matt would agree, is help people see Christ in all of Scripture. That he's not just there in prophecy. I think if people know about Christ in the Old Testament, if it's anything, they know about him in prophecy. Isaiah 53 or Psalm 22, stuff like that. They might know about him in terms of typology, where certain things are patterned after him or whatever. But actually him being present as a character, as the main character, the main actor in the story from Genesis to Malachi, that's a mind-blowing idea that is foreign to many, many Christians. In some ways, it was foreign to me when I first came across Mike's stuff, writing on it. And so that's the reason why the book ended up being written. And the short answer to your question, it's not that short, but it's sort of short.